The $1,200 stimulus checks, the untold secrets. What do they mean for you now, and what are they going to mean for you early next year when tax time rolls around? Hey everyone, Matt here, back for another video. Today is Wednesday, July 29th, and just to throw this out there, there's not a whole lot of new information regarding the second round of stimulus checks as of today, so I'm not going to act like there is. However, I wanted to give you this video to continue helping you navigate this confusing time and to be here for you to help you answer some questions. So this video pertains to both the first stimulus check and the second stimulus check that we're likely going to be receiving here, hopefully in the next month or two. Also, this video pertains to anybody who has or has not received the check, and of course, all of you who receive Social Security, whether it's retirement, disability, survivors, SSI, VA beneficiaries, and railroad retirees. All right, so let's talk about this. What do the stimulus checks mean right now, and what are they going to mean in just a few months? All right, real quick, I just want to say one more thing. I actually called the IRS this morning and I had a conversation with an agent. That was pretty interesting. I'm actually going to be releasing that video later today, provided there's not a whole bunch of new interesting breaking news, as you could say, at some point today that I would replace that video with. But later today, I'll release that video of my conversation with the IRS agent. Pretty interesting stuff. All right, let's get back to it. So what do these stimulus checks mean? They are an advance on a refundable tax credit for 2020. So what does that mean? What is an advance and what's a refundable tax credit? An advance, I'm sure you've heard of like a cash advance. You go to your ATM or whatever, your debit card, your credit card, you can get a cash advance through an ATM. Same thing. Basically, the government is giving us a cash advance on our 2020 tax return, which will typically be filed early next year in 2021. So they're basically just saying, hey, we're putting this new refundable credit on the tax return, on the tax filing, and hey, we're going to give you that cash early. That's what the stimulus checks are. So they're cash advances in the form of a refundable tax credit that will show up on the return early 2021 when we file for 2020. So what does it mean if you have received your stimulus check? I'll talk about that first, and then I'll talk about if you have not received your stimulus check quite yet. And of course, as of right now, as of this recording, this is just for the first stimulus check because that's the only one that's been issued as of now. However, we can anticipate the second stimulus check should be issued here. They're talking in August, so we'll see about that. All right, let's get to it. So what does this mean if you have received your stimulus check? This means when you go to file your taxes early next year, it's going to show there like, hey, refundable tax credit, and that you receive the advance on that. Will it be taxed? No, because this is a refundable tax credit. A refundable tax credit is a credit that is issued to you even if your tax liability is drawn down to zero. So it's kind of confusing. There's a refundable tax credit and there's a non-refundable tax credit. The non-refundable credit is if you were to take your income or your tax liability down to zero, basically with the non-refundable tax credit, it's just zero. You don't get any additional money. That's it. With a refundable tax credit, if you reduce your income and your tax liability to zero, and then you still have a refundable tax credit available, you'll still get that money back beyond, even though your income is zero and you've wiped all your income out, you'll still get that refundable credit. That's exactly what these stimulus checks are. So this is really cool. So let's talk about people who have not received the stimulus check yet. What is that going to mean for you next year? So let's say we go into next year and you still haven't received your stimulus check, whether it's the first one, the second one, both of them, either way. We go into 2021, you have not received it. What does that mean? You go to file your taxes. Let's say let's just say you didn't receive either of the refunds or the stimulus payments. Let's say you didn't receive either of them and both of them have been approved. You go into 2021, you go to file your tax return, you wipe out your income all the way to zero. All of a sudden you look and you say, hey, check it out. I have 2 refundable tax credits because I didn't receive my 2 stimulus payments at $1,200 a pop. That's $2,400 that you can still get back because it's a refundable tax credit. So that money can still come back to you. At that point, it'll just come back as like a tax refund. So it's still cool. So even if you don't receive your stimulus payments this year, I know you don't want to wait, but you'll still get it next year. So I know this, it's not like, hey, check it out, wait another 8 months and you can get it. That's not what I'm saying. I really want all of you to get these payments now. But what I'm saying is, if for some reason you do not receive these payments in 2020 as the stimulus check, you're still going to get that money provided you're eligible for it and you don't exceed the income thresholds. You'll still be eligible and receive that money next year upon filing your tax return. Now, what if you're somebody who receives Social Security, SSI, something like that, and let's just say you through that program, through those benefits, you receive I don't know, let's just say $10,000 in income. I'm just throwing a round number out there just for easy purposes. Let's just say it's 10 grand. Well, the standard deduction is what, 12,200, 12,400, something like that. So technically, the standard deduction wipes out all of your income. So you have zero income. Well, then what? You would say, well, I don't file a tax return because I don't need to. My income is zero, essentially, right? On paper. So then what can you do? Well, you may want to consider filing a tax return anyway so that you can take advantage of the refundable tax credit, otherwise known as stimulus payments that I've been talking about, provided you haven't received them in 2020. I hope all of this is making sense. So the only way you would file a tax return early next year, if your income is zero because of Social Security, SSI, any of those benefits, is if you don't receive the stimulus checks in 2020, you would probably want to consider filing a 2020 tax return early next year so you can still grab those refundable tax credits. Of course, I'm not your CPA, I'm not your accountant, I'm not your advisor. You probably want to talk to your professional regarding your exact situation to see if this is something that you want to look into and something that you should do. So I hope this helps clear up a little bit of confusion possibly around the stimulus checks and what does it mean, things like that. Also, is this going to be counted as income and do you need to pay it back? The only way you would potentially need to pay it back is if for some reason in 2020 you earn a buttload of money and they look at it and they say, hey, you earned way over the threshold, you need to pay it back. Now again, I'm not sure how they're going to calculate that whole thing out quite yet, but I think the only way you would need to pay this back in any way of any form is if you make a boatload of money in 2020 and you're way over the income threshold, which is for a single person, it's $75,000 up to, there's a phase out between $75,000 and $99,000, which after $99,000, it's $0 from the stimulus. If you're a married couple, it's $150 grand, and there's that phase out between $150,000 and $198,000. So again, not many people watching these videos are in these thresholds. So you really don't have to worry about it. In fact, not many people out there at all are over these thresholds. So it's just not applicable to a huge percentage of the population. So anyway, I hope this clarifies a little bit. Like I said earlier, there's not a whole lot of new information regarding stimulus check round number 2 as of today, Wednesday, but I wanted to create this video and continue to be here for you. Plus, who knows, maybe you like my shirt today. I get a lot of comments on my shirts. It actually makes me want to go out to the store and buy a whole bunch more shirts just to keep it switched up and keep it interesting because all of you keep commenting and love my shirts. This one's actually pretty basic. It's just, I don't know, pretty basic. Yesterday I was wearing a really bright pink shirt apparently. I didn't even know it when I threw it on, but tons of comments came in and Corey's like, you're wearing your bright pink shirt today. I didn't even know it, but people loved it. So anyway, if you want to check that video out, I posted that last night. But anyway, like I said, I'm still here for you, still looking out for you, doing all the research, doing anything I can to help you navigate this confusing time and to continue to be here for you to help answer questions. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to stick them down below. If for some reason I don't get to you, please do not take offense to it. I honestly do my best to answer as many comments as I can, but honestly, I just don't have that much time to answer like 1,000 comments in a day. I mean, it's a lot. I love it though. I read all the comments, whether I do or don't respond. So thank you so much for your continued support. Enjoy your day and be on the lookout for that video later today with my conversation with the IRS agent. Pretty interesting. Otherwise, if there's a lot of new interesting news today, of course I'll replace that video later today and give you the latest updates. But other than that, have a great Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for your continued support. I truly appreciate it. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, thanks.